You know how imperfectly the women of the mezzoceto are educated in Italy. This is the name of the lower class. Yes. Well, read the letter again, look at the writing, and find, if you can, any blemish in the language or orthography. The writing was, in reality, charming, and the orthography irreproachable. You are born to good fortune, said Franz as he returned the letter. Laugh as much as you will, replied Albert. I am in love. You alarm me, cried Franz. I see that I shall not only go alone to the Duke of Bracciano's, but also return to Florence alone. If my unknown be as amiable as she is beautiful, said Albert, I shall fix myself at Rome for 6 weeks at least. I adore Rome, and I have always had a great taste for archaeology. Come, 2 or 3 more such adventures, and I do not despair of seeing you a member of the Academy. Doubtless, Albert was about to discuss seriously his right to the academic chair when they were informed that dinner was ready. Albert's love had not taken away his appetite. He hastened with Franz to seat himself, free to recommence discussion after dinner. After dinner, the Count of Monte Cristo was announced. They had not seen him for 2 days. Signor Pastrini informed them that the business had called him to Civetta Vecchia. He had started the previous evening, and had only returned an hour since. He was charming. Whether he kept a watch over himself, or whether by accident he did not sound the acrimonious chords that in other circumstances had been touched, he was tonight like everybody else. Okay, there's a lot happening in today's passage in terms of characterization. And let's try to break this down a little bit. We've been talking about what is being revealed of Albert's character. I seem to think he's got some flights of fancy in him. His imagination, especially his romantic imagination, carries him away, it seems, to maybe illogical or impractical places as well. Franz, on the other hand, is taking a more, I wouldn't call it ironic necessarily, but like he's distancing himself a little bit, allowing Albert his dalliances without raining on his parade too much. But he does have these like little tiny jibes when Albert seems to be claiming more than is maybe appropriate. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's break down some of this dialogue here. Albert is making Franz read the letter. So if you've had a gap between yesterday's episode and today, Albert has made Franz read this letter that was written to him by this romantic fling, and he's insisting that the woman is of higher class, because yesterday Franz was kind of chiding Albert, saying, well, if she's anyone of high society, she'll be at the ball I'm going to tonight, so you'll be there anyway. And Albert getting kind of defensible about this, saying, she is of high society. Look at her language and orthography. If you don't know what orthography is, which I didn't going into this episode, it's basically just the good English or French. You know, I guess orthography has to span multiple languages. So it's just like spelling, hyphenation, capital, punctuation, all the word breaks, line break, all that stuff. 9th grade composition stuff. And he's pointing to this as evidence that this is a woman of education. And Franz, when he says, you're born to good fortune, that's where I'm like, is he being a little sardonic there? Or is it just in good fun? I don't know, because Albert replies with, like, laugh as much as you will, I'm in love. But then Franz, this is the back and forth, the kind of reality check that he's trying to give Albert, saying that, like, on the trajectory you're going, I'm not only going to go to this ball alone, but I'm going to go back to Florence by myself. And Albert just like goes off with it, saying, yeah, you know, I love Rome. I've always loved Rome. And, you know, if this goes well, I'm going to be here for like at least 6 more weeks. And the line that I've always had a great taste for archaeology makes me wonder if that's like a true thing, or is that just something he's now saying because, like, when you're in middle school and suddenly you become super interested in the thing that your crush is interested in, and you're like, oh, I've always loved this thing, just to immerse yourself in that dream world a little bit, which can get dangerous. and I wonder if Albert is dipping his toe into dangerous waters. So that back and forth between Franz and Albert seems to be deepening their characters a little bit, Franz being the more pragmatic of the two, and Albert being a bit more head in the clouds. But we also get the reintroduction of Dante, and I'm curious what tomorrow's episode is going to bring, because this is saying that the Count is returning after being gone for a couple days, and as he's returned, he seems like a normal member of society who isn't, basking under dark clouds and spouting off about executions across the globe. It's basically saying he's that line there. He did not sound the acrimonious chords that in other circumstances had been touched. He was tonight like everybody else. How does Franz and Albert, if Albert has the awareness, and now that he has a romantic distraction, I can't imagine he's going to be at all aware of this, but how is Franz going to take this kind of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde personality that Dante is starting to exhibit? He acts the good host on the island of Monte Cristo. They meet him here in multiple disguises, the clandestine meeting in the Colosseum, the garish wealth shown of his opera box and the mysterious woman he's with, but the reputation that the Countess G gives him of being a vampire, then seeing him in the hotel's accommodations with his own entourage of stuff, and then going from that. So you got wealth, you got hospitality, you got mystery, then you've got this dark brooding obsession with death and killing. Now he's just like a normal member of society again. Dude is unstable. Let's just say it. It seems like he wants us to believe he has full control over himself and manipulating what he needs, but dude's all over the place. And I wonder how Franz is going to try to square all of that. But there's only one way to find out, and that is to go into tomorrow's episode as we start to head out. Chapter 36. We've got 5 more episodes left. Less than a week. Join me here tomorrow for a little bit more. Until then, okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.